What up? What's going on, guys? It's your boy, the real Chevy. You already know, Get Real, which stands for Real Estate as a Lifestyle. We're here with another episode number 6 on the Get Real channel. Okay, wake up, grind, repeat. You already know this is 24/7, 365. We focus on growth. We focus on abundance. We focus on helping other people. I'm here with a special guest today. I've been chasing this lady down for the past several months to do an interview with me. I'm super pumped. I'm super excited. This is actually like my first seasoned veteran on the channel. That's a young lady. So I'm pretty excited about it. We have Miss Alicia out of Philly.
Yo, what's good?
That's what I'm talking about. So Alicia, I'm very excited to have you on the channel. I've been seeing you in these Facebook groups. I think we're in multiple Facebook groups, and some of the things that catch my eyes is just how you go about targeting, how you go about doing your marketing. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to dive into how you're out there straight smashing it with your form of marketing in Philly, okay?
Cool. Well, like you said, thank you for the introduction. I'm Alicia Rene out of Philly, and I consider myself the direct mail queen.
Hey.
I got started in real estate in 2018, watching a video after seeing a real estate investor on the Breakfast Club. Got me super, super interested, and it helped me see how I could really impact my community. And so from there, I just went into focusing on the best way to make an impact in my community, which is hyper-focused marketing. So that's what I do. I like to specifically target property owners that have a lot going on and could really, really use my help. So that's what I do. And I market to them in a very clever way. I like to use direct mail postcards that look like, you just got a holiday card from your grandchildren or something. Things that interest people that, make them want to call me back. So that's what I do. And now I'm kind of like you, where I've been so great at it that I just want to educate and, support others in the business so they can do it too.
Great. And just overall, I know that when we was having a conversation before we start, you were saying that the way that you started in real estate wasn't really a niche for you because everybody else was doing it. So what was that way that you started when it comes to real estate?
So I kind of, I was falling into just doing what everybody else was doing, right? Because I'm like, I really want to get away from my job because I can't stand working for somebody. It's not working for me. I'm running into the same problems all the time, which is me just wanting to do my own thing. So I get into real estate. I see what everybody's doing. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go along with what everybody's doing. And it didn't work for me.
You were putting out banners down?
No, I was not putting out banners. So I was cold calling.
Okay.
I was cold calling. I didn't even have like really good lists. I did a little bit of driving for dollars.
Okay.
Is a lot in the hood, let me tell you. The hood don't sleep. So when you driving through the hood and there's like only 2 addresses on a property, so you got to get out the car and people beeping at you, they drinking. It's a lot.
Okay.
So, but it was pretty interesting. But that's what I started with, and it wasn't working for me. It was something missing. So after like 6 months of like nothing happening, I kind of wiped out the whole board and I started over. That's when I got into hyper-focused marketing, which meant I'm like, listen, you got to figure out like what type of people really need to sell a property. Like, because there's all different types of real estate, right? And I'm sure you've come across wholesaling, there's owner financing, there's all these different things, right? Oh. But I'm like, I got to figure out how to narrow this down. So, I started looking into tax delinquency. Everybody was talking about taxes, tax auctions, things like that. So I educated myself on that really good, asked a lot of questions to people that understood it. And then I just started to pay attention to my data. Instead of being just so quick to just like, I have a list and just market, I started to pay attention to my data.
So
When I paid,
you started scrubbing it pretty much, right? So making sure
yes,
that you understood everything that was going on with it. Cause I
yes,
mean, cause I get a list and I just text blast all the lists and I'm waiting for responses, nothing. I'm like, damn, I probably should have scrub it, make sure everything.
right,
So
right.
yeah,
Because you
I
want
get
motivated people. You want people that need your help,
right.
right? You don't want to just, for me, I didn't want to just kind of like drop a nail into a haystack and just see what happened. So I wanted to, I knew that at the time I was working, I needed to figure out a way to get a bunch of leads where I didn't have to work super hard for them because I didn't have the time.
Right.
So I started with tax delinquency, and I started to notice the higher the tax delinquency balances, the longer people owned houses, the more likely they were deceased.
Makes sense.
And then I started to find a lane that I could sit in because one, it was something that a lot of people weren't doing. Yes. And number two, if people did get into it, they couldn't follow it through because they didn't want to do all the work that it required.
It's funny how you say that because you also said something so key earlier as well. You was like, well, after 6 months of nothing, I kind of went back to the drawing board and refreshed my hustle. Because a lot of times in this real estate space, a lot of people, what they do is they say, well, if I don't find something in 2 weeks, that's it. Real estate is not for me. Then they start blaming other people around them. They start being upset and angry instead of just being patient and understand that just because one person have instant result don't mean it's going to be the same thing for you. You have to understand your lane and what you're doing for you to develop your skill and own your skill. Like people want to be the Maxwell and the Mark Whitney of the world, so they start comparing themselves to all these different people, but they not focused on who they are and what they need to do, which is so key, man. I'm super pumped and excited that you just mentioned that. Like you didn't just throw in the towel and say, nah, real estate is not for me. I'm done. I'm good. I'm not going to do it no more. You said, I got to go back to the drawing board and figure something else that's going to actually work for me. It's just by trial and error, which is pretty awesome for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You have to do that sometimes because what I noticed is that I was doing something that was out of character for me, which was I was like paying attention to somebody else's paper. You know, like, and that's not what I do. I've always been this creative person who loves to stand out. Like I'm a Leo. I got to have my attention. I've got to be, you know, the center focus. I know who I am. Right. Yeah. And that helps me in my business because it's like, you got to play to your strengths. I tell people this all the time because I realized cold calling was not for me. I'm not a salesperson, you know, and cold calling is great. You need it in the business, but I'm like, there's got to be other ways for me to connect with people where I'm not so uncomfortable and filled with anxiety that I can't be successful. Absolutely. So that was a part of me starting over as well, because I'm like, I can't keep doing something that's not working for me, not just with the leads, but even with the marketing. You know, so then when the direct mail, I started to, you know, go on YouTube and learn about direct mail. People were saying, oh, direct mail is old school. So I'm like, oh, well, then that's what I want to do.
Right. You gotta create your own lane. Create your own lane.
Because you know what that said to me? Old school says to me that everybody's trying to do the new wave. And the new wave works too. But that means that there's a lane within the old school. So I'm like, okay, well, that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do old school with it. And it's worked out. It's worked out because, you know, everybody, you know, a lot of people, some people laugh. They're like, are you serious? You're using actual postcards that you buy at like Target or Walmart? I am.
Right.
Because something that some of you aren't able to do is even get people to pay attention to what's on your marketing.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And that was the first step for me. You know, I started to also think about it like, okay, Alicia, if someone was marketing to you, what would work, what would not work? Right? Because I get mail all the time, you probably do. I tear a lot of stuff up before I ever read it.
I don't even look at it. Garbage. So yeah.
Right. But if I get something like that, if I get like a postcard, you know, and it's handwritten, I'm like, oh, somebody sent me a card. They probably maybe have a check in it. I'm thinking like, you know, this is how people think, especially if it's around the holidays or something. So I'm like, this is working. I had sent out 10 cards like that, my first run, doing my own thing. And I got 9 responses.
Wow. 10 cards and 9 responses. That's a high response rate.
Right. So I went from 9 responses to 3 contracts and was able to close 1. from
I like
10.
those numbers.
So I'm like, oh well, this is working. Let me start focusing more on this process. And then again with like networking, and I'm like, a lot of people aren't focused on the process. They kind of just throwing it all out there. I was like, I'm gonna focus on the process. And
That's
it
where it's
just
at.
started to work out much better every time I did it. So now I'm just like, I got this shit. I'm just gonna run with it.
Hey, there
You
we
know.
go. Nah, that's solid, man. I think that is so key. Like a lot of people, they just go with the hype, as far as trying to figure out what's working for somebody else, so they could implement their own, so they could implement the same thing. But it's not in your comfort zone. It's not what you're familiar with, and then that's why a lot of new guys that comes into the real estate space, they normally get discouraged, because they're like, man, I can't do what he's doing. You don't need to try to do what he's doing. You got to find out what works for you. You got to find out what works for you and then own it. That's how you get better. So, when you talk about the processes, when you talk about, as far as the old school way where there isn't a lot of competition in those ways, right? So I get it, man. I understand completely. Now, let me ask you this: as far as, because I know you say that you was working a job, are you full time now in real estate?
I'm full time now as of April 26, 2019.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So
Best decision I ever made.
absolutely, man. It's a game changer and a life changer. So what was that turning point for you where you went to your job, started ripping up papers, you slapped the hell out of your boss and said, I'm out, like I'm good, I can't do this no more. So what was that turning point for you?
So I'm gonna keep it all the way real with you.
Sure.
So my background is in human resources. 17 years in human resources. I started as an assistant and went all the way up to human resource management. And through that time, it was always the same thing. It was always me coming into a business trying to help improve the business, like process improvement. That's kind of what HR is. And when it's not just a process, it's with the people. How can I get the people to connect to the company more? How can I get them to thrive more? It's about pouring everything into someone else's business, into other people. That's all HR is, right? Yeah. But you get, being young, being Black in the positions that I've had, it's always worked against me. People come in, it's like they don't want you to be doing better than them. Right. This is the mindset of a lot of people. And when you work for other folk, you don't see that until after. But when you work for other folk, you got to go along to get along. Right. Like, that no longer worked for me. So for me, the window opened in 2017 when I got laid off of my really, really good job working for this huge restaurateur in Philadelphia, overseeing 17 restaurants in Philadelphia, New York, Florida, DC. And they let me go because my boss felt like I was trying to embarrass her. I was trying to do too much. At that point, I said, you know what? I can't work for anybody anymore. I didn't have a plan though, right? I don't want to work for anybody, but this is when I felt like God opened the window. An old manager that I had gave me a call about a contract opportunity. And he was like, listen, I know how you are. Like, we hadn't even talked in a couple of years. He was like, but I know how you are. Just let me know if you are available. Got this great position. I need you to help me with this company. They're like over $2 million in debt. The only person I know that can help me is you. I was like, listen, if I come work for you, I'm not working right now, but if I come work for you, I'm not working all day because I can't do these 8 hours. And I need some flexibility to figure out what I really want to do. He was like, as long as the job gets done, that's fine. Right. So I worked from him until the end of 17, until 19, under a contract, to the point I was working 6 hours a day, then I started working 3 hours a day when I got into real estate. Okay. Because I didn't have time to really be working. I needed to be working on my entrepreneurship. Oh, yeah. I was meeting my requirement with him. He came to me and he said, listen, he was like, what you're doing is your time. You got to go. He was like, I can't keep explaining to people why I allow you to stay here. Pretty much, make a 6-figure salary and hardly do shit. Like, I can't keep explaining it to people. He was like, so it's time. Like, you need to just, like, you'll get your wings on the way down. Like, just do it. And I'm
Right.
like, okay. So we made a mutual decision. He told me June, and something happened in April. What happened in April? I don't even know, but I was like, this is it. I was like, another 2 weeks and I'm done. He was like, that's cool. He was like, go ahead and do your thing. And that's it. That's all it was. And I didn't even make the decision with like 2-3 years of savings. Like, they say some people should. I don't have children yet. I just made a spontaneous decision because I'm like, you know what? I've had jobs and I've struggled. I'd rather do that on the side of entrepreneurship with my freedom, and I can do what I need to do. And it's rewarded me. Sometimes you just have to do, it's like high risk, high reward. That's how I look at it. It's not a decision for everybody, but, I had the support of my husband, and we continually support each other. He's been an entrepreneur for 3 years. So I just said, I got to do it. You ain't gonna be out here living your best life as an entrepreneur and working for somebody. So I just did it. And it's not good. It's not the best decision for everybody, but that's a decision that I made and I stand behind it every day.
That's good, man. One of the things that I took from Brent Daniels over at Wholesaling Inc. He said, look, before you do anything, just have 6 months reserve. So this way you could weather those storms. I'm like you though, I didn't have no reserves. I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of being sick and tired. I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna take a shot, and I'm gonna go get it. And that's how it was. So, very impactful story though, man. So now, what's your business look like for 2020? What, I know that you guys are doing the mailers. Did you start scaling yet? What, are you doing any coaching, mentoring? What's your situation in 2020 right now?
So what the business looks like now for 2020 is we've introduced late 2018, we introduced corporate leasing. We're doing the rental arbitrage. So we've now moved into the Airbnb space. Actually have a couple appointments today for Airbnb. That's our cash flow, right? Because cash flow is king. So we're working diligently on 25 to 50,000 in cash flow a month. That's the goal for the end of the year. Solely in short-term rentals, whether it be partnerships in corporate leasing, or we're actually taking it over to do the actual arbitrage. So we have both of those strategies working at the same time. I have my business partner, a friend of mine, one of my real friends, because for me it's like real friends are in business and have the same mindset and all of that. So one of my real friends, we're partnering in that business and it's working well. And still doing the wholesaling. So as far as the scaling, we're looking at it a little bit different, right? We don't just send 10 mailers anymore. Obviously that was just a test run and it just worked out. We're doing about 150 a month. But that right now is comfortable for us because of our high return, so where some people may be sending 3,000 and they're working, diligently on 10, we're sending 150 and diligently working on 40, so.
Woo.
And we have deals constantly flowing because there's a lot of people, when you do this high niche marketing, you find way more problems. So every property has like 10, 15 liens. So it's going to be 2 virtual assistants coming into the business that'll be working on, they'll be trained on how to negotiate liens and do a lot of those things that we can't do because we can't be on the phone all day.
Right.
And they will also be doing all the lead generation. As far as the marketing, I'm opening a non-for-profit business looking to encourage and empower Black young women in college, get them started in entrepreneurship, not just even for business, just for themselves. Black women face a lot of challenges, and I want to be a part of us just being better, being stronger, being more confident, and more willing to get out here and do business. We need way more women in real estate, especially. So I'm just looking to bring 10 more women in by the end of the year. So to bring them in my business, they're going to be doing my marketing. They're going to start all the marketing. And eventually by the end of the year, we'll bring them on so they can do their own deals. They won't be just working for me.
I love it. I love it. So kind of giving back, being more of a go giver, right? To people. I love that. I love that, man. That's the beauty of real estate, is that it gives you an opportunity to own your craft, and then being able to teach and develop someone else on coming into their own rights, and being in having the confidence to go out into the world, to take on the world where they're sure about themselves rather than being unsure. So I love what you're doing. Love what you're doing out there in Philly. How can people get in touch with you? If somebody want to reach out, or someone want to follow you, Instagram, Twitter, whatever the case may be, how can they reach out?
So, as far as reaching out, I would say Instagram is the best place. I am building a bigger education platform because, just like you, I want to really educate other investors. I want us, we can all win together. So, I am. My Instagram, what's my Instagram? Savage underscore Philly underscore John, JAWN, on Instagram. Please follow me there. I will be posting all the information for my training classes, which I forgot to mention in the midst of everything, but I do training for other investors. That's a part of the give back. As you mentioned, a lot of people helped pull me up and supported me, and I'm just doing the same, and it's so fulfilling, in that way. So follow me on Instagram, Savage underscore Philly underscore John, or you can follow me on Facebook. The Twitter is a secret. That ain't for everybody. Those are my main two social media platforms.
Awesome. And then, the last thing, what would be that key advice that you'll give to that guy or girl that is just getting started in real estate? They're tired of their 9 to 5, or, they have a job, but they're trying to venture off into being an entrepreneur and being their own boss. What would be that key advice that you'll give to them?
So first and foremost, you got to get real with yourself, right? How bad do you really want it? Because if you're working a job, you're sick of that, and you want to get into entrepreneurship, it is going to take sacrifice and discipline. A lot of people don't understand or recognize, like, these are two important things. You can't keep living your life the way you're living it with your job when you want to get into entrepreneurship. Things have to change. Your mindset has to change. The people around you sometimes have to change. If it's not good energy, if they're not lifting you up, they gotta go. You have to, constantly keep people around you that are going to keep you fulfilled and focused on what your goals are. You have to be willing to sacrifice and not make excuses. A lot of times I have kids and I have this. Listen, there's always time. It's just how we prioritize the time. It's the thing that you can't get back. So you have to be willing to sacrifice. The other thing is be realistic in knowing that nothing is absolutely for free. While there is such a low entry point into real estate with wholesaling, you still have to pay for things. There still has to be some capital that goes in investments into education, things of that nature to make you better. Everything is not for free. So that's one of the other things. Don't have a entitled mindset. No one owes you shit. Like, we all got to get out here and get it. We all have to do that. We have the same opportunity, the same 24 hours. And don't be afraid to fail, because you really only fail when you don't try or get back up. Don't worry about what other people are doing, like you said. Don't focus on the big checks and the people that, seem to have overnight success. Everything you see is not real. And that's just the bottom line. Like, so keep your eyes focused on your own paper. When you're thinking and going into this business, have that focus be on your family, changing your family situation, and not what anyone else has going on. Focus on your own shit, your own paper.
I love it. This was good stuff. Dropped so many gems. Focus on your own lane. Make sure nothing in this world is really for free, right? You got to really go out and get it. also also another part to it is making sure you're adding value to anybody that you're looking to connect with as well. So focus less on
Yes.
what can I get out of the situation and how can you help that person in their situation, and that's how you're going to win, and vice versa itself. So great gems. There you have it, guys. Another episode of Get Real, which stands for Real Estate as a Lifestyle. Wake up, grind, repeat. That's what we're doing out here 24/7, 365. That abundance mindset. Just giving, giving, giving. It's up to you to take the information and actually run with it itself. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Follow Miss Alicia as well. I'm gonna add all of our handles in the description below. Um, let's get this money, man. Let's continue to grow. I'm super excited. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank
This is gonna
you.
be so epic. Like, this is just gonna create more following. I love it. Hopefully, people take this information and run with it. All right.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.